So, when we first started Beyond the Savannah, and that was 9 months ago, I never anticipated the impact that we would have on people's lives. I was here giving you gems and, showing you the path in terms of you landing a remote job to learn the impact that we've had on people's lives 9 months in, and the fact that our followers, our customers have actually gotten jobs through our platform is beyond. It is more than what you could have asked for. And of course, I do not do this alone. We've got an amazing team that works tirelessly to ensure that we've got great content, that the jobs are updated, and that we're doing the very best that we can to help you navigate the entire remote work landscape. Today's guest is amazing. And when I started this, I never once have I said that it's going to be easy, right? I think that has been super clear if you've watched us a number of times. And I've always said that it requires some level of grit, it requires some level of patience, and of course, you need to know your stuff and you need to work on positioning yourself, and that's why we actually involve ourselves in talent readiness. That's why we are constantly working on your CV revamps, and that's why we tell you that you do need an ATS friendly resume, you do need your LinkedIn profile to be optimized, and you do need that 1 minute introductory video. So this guest that you're going to see shortly is truly the epitome of that. She's got grit. She was rejected 4 times after attending 4 interviews. She was at the verge of giving up and giving hope that perhaps remote work wasn't for her. And then this happened. I'm so excited for her. I'm so excited to have her join us. And I hope that if anything, that you get a little bit of hope from her story, that you also get to see that if I did it, if she did it, so can you. Which is the reason as to why Beyond the Savannah is here in any case. Yeah. So let's get started. So when you first started Beyond the Savannah 9 months ago, literally today, 9 months ago, I never said that this was going to be easy. So because one, the competition is global, right? As we all know, and unemployment rate in your local countries, I'm sure if you're an African, then again, not the most ideal. And it's even worse globally, even in countries like the US, we're still seeing unemployment rates going through the roof, right? So for me, it was more about preaching hope and letting you guys know that, this is possible. And what warms my heart even more, or what brings me so much joy, is interacting with people who have actually gone through the platform and gotten opportunities. And one thing that I always say is that finding or landing yourself a remote job requires grit. This is not a get easy scheme. It requires you to be perseverant. Is it perseverance? Yeah, it requires you to be good at your job, one, to continuously send out applications and just persevere. Grit, in short. And our guest today, Faith, is the epitome of that, and you're going to see in a bit. So, welcome, Miss Faith. Please introduce yourself.
Okay, so I am Geetha, although Faith is also fine. It is one of my names. I am from Cape Town, South Africa. And yeah, I'm happy to be here. Thank you for having me, Lorraine.
Awesome. So I want to know just a little bit about yourself, right? One thing that I always say is that our mission is to actually bring or empower more African youth by providing for them financial flexibility and freedom through remote work. And again, as evidenced, you in South Africa, gone through a platform, landed an opportunity. So please tell us a little bit about Geetha, who you are, and what made you to be, or what motivated you to start looking for a remote job.
I think the most important thing that is the contributing factor for many of us is the financial side. So remote work gives you the flexibility to have or to be able to do things that you wouldn't ordinarily be able to do. So, for example, if you're working a 9 to 5 and you need to go to the shop, you need certain things from the mall, most of the shops close early, and you're not always able to do that during your lunch times. So this at least gives you the freedom to plan accordingly. Say, for example, like myself, if you work a little bit later in the day, you can plan something like that. I think also the obviously the financial side, because of our currencies in Africa, Lorraine,
Yeah.
it's not strong against any of the first world currencies. So I think it is beneficial for those companies in those countries because their salary bases are not as high, but it's a benefit for us because of the exchange rate. And there's a lot more things you can do, especially if you come from where you're barely surviving with your native currency to where you can actually have a better quality of life in foreign currency. So I think that is the key thing to look for, and that is the key motivating factor. And also, what I have noticed, like I haven't been at this company for long, there is a sense of we want you to do well. We are here to support you, and we want to promote you. We want to see you succeed. In countries like ours, some people have been working the same position for 5, 10 years, and there's no promotion for whatever reason. But at least your personal growth is valued. Personal growth is actually awarded. Or yeah.
Yeah. And I remember I once did an interview with a top Kenyan journalist. And in that interview, I actually mentioned that I, as an employee, never felt as valued as when I was working globally and remotely. Because, and there's something about that, yeah? Improves your employee satisfaction. It makes you want to do even more.
Exactly.
I think it's reverse psychology, but it works because you feel really good about yourself and you know that what you're doing is actually contributing to the company's bottom line and that you are important.
Yes.
Which is that sense of belonging, which is amazing. Anyhow, so I'm really curious, Geeta. Please let us know how you started, right? You were working or not working, then what? What clicked? And how your entire journey?
Okay, so I've worked in the motor industry for most of my career. And then I actually found you on TikTok. I think I actually searched for remote work just to see what it was. I started watching a few of your videos. I then also liked a few pages of other people doing the same type of content as yours.
Yeah.
I know it was you and there was another lady. I was very drawn to your content. The fact is that you were very approachable in the way that you delivered your information, your content. And the fact is that you particularly did this for the African market. Now, I'm not sure if anybody else out there knows, or a lot of people might not know, but some of the remote positions are not available for Africans.
Yes.
And that is something that obviously we don't agree with, because we can do the work as well as anybody, just given the opportunity, given the training, if we don't have it. So I just want to preface this by saying I was not dissatisfied in my current role, not at all. It was simply a financial situation and also a logistical one. There's a lot going on behind the scenes regarding that. So for me, this was the only thing that I could do without having a degree, without having advanced training, that I could perhaps increase my standard of living. So what I did is I watched a few of your videos. I wasn't exactly sure how to apply.
Yeah.
Then you did mention Sagan Recruitment.
Yeah.
So when I first heard the name, I went to go and Google it, and I found a lot of options. So I wasn't sure. Then I continued watching a few more of your videos where you actually gave the link. I think one of your viewers asked for the link, and then you then provided it. I went on the site, looked a bit around, saw what it was like. Even though I was a bit anxious, I did apply for one position because I wasn't sure where it would lead.
Yeah.
I applied for the one position, and the one thing, especially me being an introvert, the one that is required is the 1 minute introduction video. If
Yeah.
you're not a content creator, you'll realize 1 minute is actually long.
Too long, too long.
Yes. But nevertheless, I just put my foot to the ground and said, you know what? It's just a 1 minute video. It's not an interview, so I can get used to it.
Mm-hmm.
And I did it. I applied for the few positions. Out of those positions, I had 3 interviews. They
Nice.
were all unsuccessful for various reasons.
Mm-hmm.
But it's okay. Once I got the third rejection, I thought to myself, you know what? This is possibly not for me.
Mm-hmm.
Cut your losses. It's okay. Because I was still employed at that time. And then I received one Friday evening. I received an email. So what Sagan does is, even though you applied and you were possibly unsuccessful, they keep your information on file.
Yes.
So if there's a company that reaches out and you fit the profile, they will then contact you, which they did.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought to myself, I actually said to God, I said, I don't actually feel like doing this because I've been rejected so many times.
Yeah.
What is going to be different this time? And I said, you know what? Even if it is, it's going to be another part of my experience. It's just going to be because basically applying to remote jobs became a hobby of mine. I applied every single day. Every single day. It was
As
like another
everyone
job.
should, as everyone should, because competition is fierce.
It is.
Mm-hmm.
And some people are just lucky. But at the end of the day, I said, you know what, I'm sorry. I replied to the email. I said, I'm sorry. I wasn't near my phone, so I wasn't able to do the interview that Friday. I scheduled it for Monday. I did it. And I thought, you know what? I think the one thing that I also have to say is I didn't prepare for this interview. I know there is some pages out there that tell you when they ask you this, answer this, that sort of thing.
Yes.
I think me being older, I just told them, you know what, I'm going to answer your questions. I don't want to give you what you want to hear.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to tell you the way that I am. And if it's a fit, all good. If it's not, by all means, no harm, no foul.
Yeah.
So I had the interview. So that was 7 o'clock South African Standard Time.
Mm-hmm.
So the next morning, I got up. I usually get up at 4:30 in the morning. And I got up and I saw an email. And they said, this is your offer letter. If you're happy with it, then please sign it and let us know. Now, it's 4:30 in the morning.
Yeah.
I'm sitting outside. There's obviously no cat, no dog, no animal outside. And I'm thinking to myself, I couldn't put words into the feeling that I was feeling. I was astonished. I was anxious. I was surprised. All these wonderful, also scary things at the same time.
Yeah.
And I thought to myself, wow. Yes, so that is the reason why I reached out to you, because I'm someone who firmly believes if someone does something that is worthy of praise, you let them know. Regardless of who it is, whether it's someone you know, someone you don't know, because that person might also need that extra motivation to know, listen, what I'm doing is making a difference.
Yeah.
And especially from the countries that we come from, it is important to, like you said earlier, to provide hope for people. Actual stories of regular people, not people that you see on TikTok that say certain things and that it's not true. So for me, I would absolutely say to anyone that is wanting to change their financial abilities or capabilities to absolutely do this. Go with you, because you know what you're talking about. You've walked the experience. You've seen the good, you've seen the bad.
Yeah.
And a lot of people gatekeep, certain information, which you don't do. And for me, I'm very thankful because there's a lot of scams out there. All of us know.
Yeah.
Without someone like you to actually be there and say, listen, you guys, this, that, and the other, this is what you should do, this is what you shouldn't do. It just makes that process shorter and much more pleasant for so many people out there. So unfortunately, I'm sorry that you had to do the background work on behalf of most of us or all of us.
I'm happy to do that. If it means that, we get to hear so many success stories like yours, and like you said, we give hope to African youth or just Africans in general, then yeah, I think for me, this is more of, and it might sound cliche, but I feel like I'm living my purpose. Like this is what I was meant to do. I was meant in all the 9 years that I have been in this profession, in the HR profession. I feel like I was being prepared for this right now. So for me to see the impact on your life and others who come forth, I'm like, yes, we're doing it. It's great. It's amazing, and that is the motivation that I need. Yeah.
especially with a position like yours, you have to be passionate. Because I believe in anything that you do, you have to be passionate. If you
Yes.
are not, what are you doing it for? You're not pleasing yourself. You're not helping. What are you doing it for? So you are absolutely right in doing what you're doing. Keep doing what you're doing, because even though it might not be where you want it to be at the moment, it will get there, because you're motivated, you encourage, you do all the right things, and you help people. And that is so important, especially in a world where we don't want to help each other out that much.
Yeah.
So thank you. Thank you. Thank you for that.
You're gonna make me cry, Gina. Let's not do that.
Sorry.
Cool. I mean, I like the thing that she said, that when you were not looking, something came up, right? And I always tell most of my clients that, the people that come to me, let me tell you, the people that scare me are the ones who come and like, Lorraine, I want a job. Give me a job. I'm like, it doesn't work that way. Unfortunately, when you're really, really desperate for something, I don't know, it's just maybe the universe has a weird way of working, right? When you desperately need something, it doesn't come. Then when you let it go, you're like, okay, I have tried my level best. Let's see.
Exactly.
There it goes.
That is exactly that. Because like I mentioned earlier, I said to the Lord, you know what? If it's for me, it will be. But I'm not putting anything on it, because I'm not going to lose anything if it happens, if it doesn't happen. And that was the first time that I did that. I actually said to him, I said about 2 weeks or 3 weeks before, I said, you know what? I'm not going to apply anymore. And I didn't.
Yeah.
And usually I was on the site every single day, applying and checking. And I said, if it's for me, it will be. If not, then it's all good. So at the end of the day, I think that is also important, because like you said, if you're desperate, it's not going to happen.
Yeah, because that's the energy you're putting out there and actually repelling those opportunities. Yeah?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I completely agree with that.
Oh, awesome. Now, I want to talk more about the professional side, right? So I'm glad that you currently have something, which is amazing. And you said like during the interview, you really didn't prepare much for it because one, you believed in your capabilities, and obviously you believed in the work experience that you had, right? So what is your current role, or what roles were you applying to? And because you said, you went through 3 rounds of interviews or 4, what skills did you find that they were looking for?
I know with the overseas companies, particularly UK and USA, English is obviously very important. Read,
Super
write,
important.
speak. I think also the positions that I did apply for was to do with customer service, administration, that sort of thing. So even with administration, there might have been a bit of customer service.
Yes.
But I think customer service is the most important skill, I would say, because you deal with customers in any profession, whether it be your internal customers, your colleagues, or external. So I think being able to deal with tricky situations, being able to have conflict resolution, that would also help. Also communication, because what I've noticed is there is the way that we say things, there is a slight difference. So I think communication is also very, very key. Make sure that you say things clearly. So at the moment, I am doing what they call installation coordinator.
Nice.
So it is for the HVAC company. So the HVAC companies, they do stuff like aircon installation, plumbing, electrical, that sort of thing. The schedules, installation managers, and all those supporting me in that role. So it is a bit different. because I was more admin focused in
Yeah.
all my previous positions. Although I do have, I would consider this as a service advisor position. So
Mm-hmm.
in the motor industry, I did do service advising as well. So you sort of the middle point between your workshop and your customer.
Mm.
So I do have some experience. I do also think basically any course that is within the line that you are wanting to go in, even if it's going from one industry to another.
Mm-hmm.
Try and find courses. There are a lot of free courses out there.
Yes.
Even I've seen some courses that is about an hour long.
Yes.
So they give you the time frame, they give you the amount of modules. Even if it's just something to say, it's not maybe a certificate, so to speak, like, in a frame, but it's something with your name on. That does carry weight. And this you can also motivate when you are sending your applications out. Try and have as much personal growth as possible. It doesn't have to be every single day, but try and put time aside where you can allow yourself to learn new skills, and especially soft skills as well, which I think a lot of us sort of move away from
Yeah.
because we're supposed to know it. A lot of people maybe don't have that information or weren't taught that. So I think if you can maybe just do things for yourself and absolutely do courses, 100%.
Yeah, I love the gems that you're dropping today, because this is actually what I tell all my clients, right? You've got to upskill, because
Yes.
you need to be an agile thinker, and you need to be so comfortable with change. You're getting into a completely new environment. And so you need to continuously upskill and see what's new, what's out there, how are other people, in the field relating. And then the fact that, customer service, and you spoke about internal versus external customers, which is super important. We are constantly seeing more and more opportunities are coming up in customer service. They might not term it as customer service, normally it's really termed as customer success, customer experience, client relations, right? But it's still all customer service. And what I always tell my clients is that there is no degree for customer service.
No.
You come with your experience, your work experience, your educational background, and that acts as an add-on. I mean, definitely you can do the short courses on customer experience or customer service, but it is a field that has almost zero barriers to entry. As long as you're able to relate with people on a human level and understand their problems and needs and offer solutions, then you're good to go.
I think just going on that, I'm not sure who the quote is by, but it goes something like, people won't always remember what you say, but people will remember how you make them feel. So you, as a first point of contact for your customer will either cement their belief in your company that you are representing or not. So it is actually a very, very important role because it sets the tone for the rest of the relationship. And I think that is something we often don't put so much weight on, but
Yeah.
it can actually make a massive difference.
It does, it does. And the other thing that I liked you brought up was communication, right? First, English. I always say it's not a measure of intelligence, but unfortunately, it is the most common accepted formal language. So you need to have a really good command of the English language. How we communicate is completely different. Like, I find us as Africans, how we communicate is completely different from how Latin candidates communicate, from how America's candidates communicate, right? And that is something that is super important, just learning the global etiquette of communication. One book that I always advise or that I stand by is The Culture Map by Aaron Mayers, and it demonstrates the different cultures and how we communicate. So one thing that I always advise my clients is, because when you're working remotely, it's all about more asynchronous communication. So the written communication, use as many emojis as possible, because you might exactly, because your written communication is going to be perceived depending on the mood that the other person is in. Yeah, so you might have meant well. We might have meant good morning, Geetha, and they're being us like good morning. So use emojis and try that
Yes,
to
because
underline it.
your
Yeah.
tone with text, your tone is not conveyed.
Yeah.
So that is absolutely an important thing because, like you said, you might mean it in one way, the other person receives it in a different way.
Mm-hmm.
And you obviously want to avoid any miscommunication because of the distance of your colleagues. It might take a longer time to resolve. So, rather give too much information, I would say, than sort of assume they think the same way that you do.
True. True. Awesome. Loving this. Cool. So now that you've been with the current company, I want to know, how has your life changed so far? What are some of the benefits that you're currently experiencing that are different? Yeah. And yeah.
So it has only been almost 3, 4 weeks. Um, Obviously, the time difference is a challenge
Mm-hmm.
because my body has forever, I suppose, been used to a certain way of things.
Yeah.
So I am still in the adjustment period. So at the moment, my working hours are from 2 p.m. till 11 p.m. South African Standard Time.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, I would work and then I would only go to bed after 12 because there's certain things that I do after then as well.
Mm-hmm.
And depending on my husband's schedule, I will then either drop my children at school the next morning and then
Yeah.
come back. So basically, I sleep in episodes. At least, at least for now, until my body can get used to it, and obviously that would phase out as well.
Mm-hmm.
At the end of the day, one thing I do enjoy. So in the last 2 weeks, we've had a few weather warnings in South Africa. So
Mm-hmm.
it's been really cold, really windy. So the fact that I can sit at my desk and do my job without having to go outside and
Okay.
experience those terrible winds and rain is an absolute blessing for me.
Mm-hmm.
One thing I also mentioned to the Lord a few weeks ago, I said, Lord, I can no longer be driving on the road in traffic because I am becoming a different person. Because
Mm.
traffic can be an absolute nightmare.
Yeah.
And I, on an average day, would be stuck in traffic 3 times. I said, I can no longer do this.
Mm-hmm.
Besides the fuel consumption, besides me coming to work already in a huff because of people that are driving inconsiderately, I can't do this.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I don't have that. I think also being at home, being available if something needs to be done while you're at work. So obviously not maybe at the moment because there's a lot of things that I'm still learning.
Yeah.
But if somebody does need me to, for example, do something, then I am here. I can fit it into my schedule when I'm not busy at that moment. So I think that helps. Obviously also the financial side. Because there's no comparison. I figured to myself, if I'm going to continue working, and in our money get a 50 rand increase yearly.
Yeah.
Honestly, I'm not ungrateful, but I can't. I have
Yeah.
responsibilities. I have things that I would like to do.
Mm-hmm.
I have things that I want to achieve.
Mm-hmm.
And one day, and I'll say I was not dissatisfied
Yeah.
with my previous company, with my previous employee, in colleagues, excuse me.
Mm-hmm.
Not at all. It's just everybody has to do something for themselves because there's goals that they have in mind, there's things that they want to do. And also, I enjoy, okay, I am an introvert. I did mention that.
Yeah.
I do enjoy meeting people to the degree that I enjoy seeing how people see the world, their perspectives on things. So
Mm-hmm.
for me, it has opened up meeting people that are completely different from myself, that I can actually decide because that people that speak about Africans, there's a stigma attached to certain things, right?
Yeah.
So the fact that you get to meet me as an African and you make up your own mind based on who I am. And I would likewise, I don't want to say judging you, but drawing my conclusions by meeting you and seeing you. So not everything you see on television in the movies is true. So I think that also helped to give you a bit of a different perspective. So I actually enjoy that.
Oh, love it, love it. Okay, awesome. Parting shots, yeah. To anyone who's out there who's thinking about remote opportunities and they're thinking, should I not do this? They're still on the fence. What do you have to say to them?
At the end of the day, you need to decide for yourself what is more important. Is it more important to, because there's going to be some sacrifices. With remote work, you're not going to have colleagues that you can talk to in the kitchen while making coffee.
Yes.
You will have to be your own
I
colleague.
call it employee relations. Sorry.
Exactly. If you're okay with that, just make sure that that is something that you know. So it can often be, I wouldn't say lonely, but very different from what you're used to. At the end of the day, it is completely a personal preference. I've heard of people that have gone into remote work, especially post-COVID or during COVID times, that had no choice. But after the restrictions were lifted, they went back to work because they couldn't work by themselves. And I completely get that. I think it's just a personal preference. But also do as much research as you can. Speak to people like you, Lorraine, or anybody else in the community to see the pitfalls. Because at the end of the day, you don't want to isolate yourself so completely that you feel lost and depressed. Also, discipline. Discipline is very important. Some people think, and I have also heard that some people that work remotely, they lay in bed while doing their job. I am not for that. Because it is also a psychological thing. You have to basically take yourself out of your bedroom, for example, and move to a different workspace so it feels like you are leaving your residence for your job. Because at the end of the day, if you're going to maintain that, you are going to become complacent, lazy, and that is not something you want. Discipline is very important. You also have to make sure that the people that you are working for know what you are doing. I know some of them have the task trackers. Not all of them do. Some of them do. But just be open, be honest. Also ask questions all the time. If you're not sure, like the company that I work for, I will tell you, I am still to this day absolutely blown away with the level of commitment that my co-workers have to helping me. I basically get messages every day from different counterparts saying, if you need any help, let me know. I will do a video for you if you're not sure how, because it's a new system that I'm using as well. If you have any questions, give me a call, send me a message. If I'm not sure, I will let you know. They've been consistent in that. And also not just saying it, but actually doing it. And the way that they are treating me is something I've never known. I haven't been treated badly by a lot of my previous companies, but this is just a new level of something. And I'm so appreciative. And that is something you can absolutely look forward to. So I think make sure this is what you want. Research the pitfalls, because obviously the benefits are always good. But research the pitfalls and prepare yourself mentally. Set up a schedule, set up a workspace, and treat it as if you are leaving the home, just so that your productivity, all those things is going to be good.
It's a job. At the end of the day, it's a job on its own, and it needs to be treated as one.
Exactly.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much, Geeta. I really thoroughly enjoyed this conversation. And just in case, you're watching and you want to, or rather, where can we connect with you? Let's start from there. Are you on social media? I know you said TikTok, but are you on social media?
I am, but I just watch videos. I don't post.
You don't post? Okay, cool.
You're one of those weird people that lurk in the comments.
Awesome. Well, I really loved this. And please let us know your questions in the comment section and we'll get Geeta to comment, or we will ask for answers and then let you know. Thank you very much for watching. Have yourself a lovely, lovely day or night or evening or morning. And until next week, see ya. Bye.